you and the seller already have an agreement to where he's already sold you this house at this number and you are taking over his payments.
I'm copying invest like them with the real. Ain't fuck with no base. Money come easy. Thumbing through checks, got 100 on me.
Hey man, back again. It's 4 for Sharkk with Sharkk Funding. So I know you guys want to get into the real estate industry. I know y'all want to get in this game and you have no money at all, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and show you. This is gonna be one of the first videos of my sub to how to go ahead and buy a house subject to, right? And you're probably wondering, how am I gonna buy a house with absolutely no cash at all? I'm gonna go ahead and show you right now how to buy a house, right? This is gonna be our first video. The next one is gonna go ahead and go in depth, so you guys gotta stay tuned. Okay, so first thing of buying a house subject to is you gotta find these properties. How do I find these properties? These are the properties that's been on the MLS for more than 30 days. Now, these properties usually have no equity in the deal, right? So these are people that bought their house, they got super low interest rates around 2019, and they want to get out of their house, right? And what they did was when the market, it went up, so people bought their house over asking price. So with people buying their house over asking price, now the value of the house has gone down because the market has corrected somewhat. They paid about, $30,000, $50,000 over it because it was such a competitive market, in 2019. It was super competitive, so people were paying over asking price. Now the interest rates is going up and the market has corrected. So now they don't really have much equity in their home, if any at all, but they want to sell. They either want to sell because they can't afford it or they want to downsize. So right now with the interest rates, how they are, people are not going to buy their house because one, it's not even appraising for what it's worth or what the loan's worth because, there's closing costs, there's fees, there's other things. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to avoid that. So when you find a listing that's been on the MLS for 30, 60 days plus, you're going to go ahead and probably be dealing with a real estate agent. So the first thing you want to do is call that listing and ask that agent, how long has this property been in the market? You already know because you've seen the listing on MLS or Redfin or whatever, resources that you're using to find these properties. You got to notice they have a mortgage in place, right? So why would you buy that house if there's already an existing loan in place? So what you're going to do is you're going to contact that seller and you're going to say, hey, I would love to buy your house. They're like, cool, talk to the realtor. Or if you're talking to the realtor, hey, I would like to buy your client's house. They're like, okay, it's such and such price, this and third, but hey, I want to buy this house subject to. And most realtors are not up on this. So they're like, what are you talking about, buy subject to? And you're like, okay, I want to take over this person's mortgage payments. And the first thing they're going to say is, no way, I don't want anything to do with that. But after, being persistent, the realtor can't, sell the house. The one thing you might need to do is you need to take care of the realtor. Whatever the realtor is going to make from this deal, as far as, transaction wise, if they're making 3%, 4%, whatever percent they're making, that's probably all the money you're going to have to pay. Because once you take care of the realtor, you can go ahead and get that person. I have documents. I'm going to go ahead and drop those down. Actually, I probably won't drop them to YouTube. I'll probably have people contact me either through my YouTube page, my Instagram, or email to go ahead and, provide those documents for you. I actually sell those for a flat rate for these deals, these novation deals, these sub-2 deals. So you can go ahead and get to the closing table and know what to do because the property stays in the owner's name, but it goes to your, like there's a quit claim deed that's in your name, but it's not filed yet, but the owner has signed it. So say if you wanted to wholesale this deal later down the road, or you put a little money in it and they got some equity, you and the seller already have an agreement to where he's already sold you this house at this number and you are taking over his payments. And I have all the documents to keep you guys covered, right? So what you need to do is you pound the phone, you find these realtors. Sometimes the realtor might lose the deal because because he can't sell the house in a certain amount of time. So now you can contact some of these owners. You can also, you know, skip trace these owners, and sometimes they will sell their house subject to you with no money down, as long as they know you can make the mortgage payments. Now you're like, how do I convince a seller that I'm gonna pay his mortgage and I'm not gonna default? Now, I have a few companies that do securities where they're gonna back the payment just in case you default on the mortgage payments. Now they're gonna guarantee the seller that you're gonna make his mortgage payments for him. And then also you're like, why would this person sell this house to me? How are they gonna buy another house if they already have an existing mortgage? Boom, this is where it goes. Now that company, that insurance company that guarantees that that mortgage will be paid, that seller presents the agreement to the underwriter that they're buying their new home with, that this is being paid for and it is backed by a company that, you know, security backed, and that they're gonna make sure that these payments are covered in case you, the buyer, default on these mortgage payments, to make the seller feel more comfortable with this subject to deal. So y'all stay tuned. I'm gonna go ahead and drop so much more gems on how to do a deal. No money down, no nothing, subject to 44 Sharkk. I'm out.